Hi there, welcome. This is Michael Harris, host of Falling Up Radio. I'm really excited that you're here today. We have a guest that it's just thrilling to have her. She's a world-renowned yoga teacher, Rajashree Choudhury. Let me introduce you to her a little bit. For those of you that don't know who she is, many of you I'm sure that already know, but many of you may not know who she is. Rajashree was born in Kolkata, India, and she began her yoga practice at four years old, and she became the 5-time National India Yoga Championship. And as a result, she really had this lifetime desire to really encourage children and youth to practice yoga. And as such, she also founded the United States Yoga Federation and the International Yoga Sports Federation. And it's not mentioned here in this, but maybe she'll mention, also has worked with the International Olympic Committee on bringing yoga to the Olympics. I'm going to go on. Rajashree has this incredible special focus on really the emotional side of yoga. So, you know, not only the impact on the mind, body, spirit, but what's going on emotionally, and really how yoga helps us deal with our life and in all the challenges and the joys that come about. But wait, don't go anywhere. Rajashree also has a degree in yoga therapy and is certified by the International Association with Yoga Therapists. I have to read this because it's so much. Rajashree travels worldwide, conducts yoga seminars, workshops, retreats, women's retreats, and so on. She's inspired by a number of her own teachers, BKS Iyengar, Dr., and I hope I pronounced this right, Kashala Das, and Dr. P.S. Das, and other great teachers as well. Let me see. The other thing that I really appreciate about yoga, or about Rajashree, is that she has a lot of focus on helping the people of the world in so many different ways. As such, she's involved with Karma for Kids, which is dedicated to helping kids with cancer. She works closely with Uprising Yoga, which is really helping child victims of sex trafficking and stopping sex trafficking. She's involved with Team Red, White, and Blue that helps the veterans of our country through yoga and other activities, and it goes on and on and on. She really has a devotion again to children and women, and as such, she created the Rajashree Pregnancy Yoga Series, which is really a series, a system that helps pregnant women really have healthy, nurturing pregnancies and easier childbirth, perhaps. And again, it goes on and on and on. So welcome, Rajashree Choudhury, to our show today. I really feel blessed to have you here today.
Thank you, Michael. You gave such a big introduction.
Well, I feel like it's still only half of introduction. One of the things that I didn't mention was when I came to teacher training in 1998, you had a profound effect on my life, and really on that emotional side and on my personal side, I really felt an opening up as a result of some of our conversations and some of our discussions. So I'm internally grateful for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So tell the listeners, you started yoga at 4 years old. Now, that was at the encouraging of your parents, or
yes,
what really got you started?
Right. I started yoga 4 years old because one of my cousins started doing yoga practice who was older than me, and she had some eye complication. So she started going with my mother. It was a ladies club, which first teacher you just pronounced the name called Dr. Kushala Das. Yes.
Sure.
So her center is called Mahila Yogovyam Kendra. So when she started practicing there, and I used to go with my mom, just my mother never kept me home alone. So we used to go together with her. And then Kushala Das actually encouraged my mom that have myself, for me to join the class with everybody, and especially being child, it would be nice for me to start yoga early age.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a nice addition, and actually it was more for my mother was great because she could go out in the afternoon with me, and after when I get back, from school, I started already in Montessori. So
Yeah.
I used to go and practice, and it really helped me because I remember my parents used to talk about my health, that I was very much, like a naughty child, and I always like to eat which is bad food, like something junk or something really not good. So they used to say that that helped me my digestion, and also helped me find my general health long
Yeah.
run. That's where I found as a therapeutic yoga. From the beginning, it was more like a prescription chart, and Kushala Das used to write that chart, and the teacher used to do practice with me every day, like a half an hour.
Oh,
That
really?
was the way my yoga was introduced to my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you take to it right away? Did you really like it, or
And
did
no, not at all.
you?
Not at all. I really did not like, because I like sports. I used to be doing a lot of running, in the school, like a track and field. And that was my really happy time when I used to run, and I used to be trying to make my, speed faster than everybody, and continuously practice. In the early morning, I used to get up always. That was my routine in my life was, and I used to go and practice all the time. And then when I had to do that in the afternoon after I get back from school, it was more for my mom. And then I kind of felt it that, oh, it's good that I will meet all other same age group, my kid, like a friends. So that was very nice that there was introduction of yoga to the kids from very early age in India.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly, I will tell you, like my primary school, I was introduced as a yoga competition. That's the time actually I was introduced to the
And
competition.
how old were you at that
I
point?
was 11 years old,
Okay.
and I had no idea about that there was existence of any yoga competition.
And this was in India.
It was in India, Kolkata. I
Uh-huh.
still remember my first judge was Kamal Bhandari and many other ladies, famous that time yoga Vyamacharyas. So
Hmm.
they actually scored me, and I was really not happy to be on the stage doing yoga competition, because I kind of felt it, if I continue doing that, that means I cannot run anymore, because my father was very against about my running, because it was not something that very graceful for girls, to girl child to do that.
Uh-huh.
And in also those days when I was growing up, if you think about it, it's much, how many, like, I will say 40 years ago, like those days, you cannot go far ahead with the track and field and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this something wrong?
Nope, not at all.
You can see it.
I can see it.
I
Yep.
cannot see your face
Oh,
anyway.
you can't?
No,
Can
something
you see
popped
it
up.
now?
No, something popped up.
Okay. Well, I can see you. The recording is still just fine.
Okay, let me see if I can postpone that. Something computer, how it is.
Okay.
So what happened that time, competition, and I won in the junior group, that's that made me kind of open my eyes and seeing, oh my God, yoga also has so much to
Yeah.
offer for
Well,
children.
you won not just once, but 5 times.
Yeah, well, what happened that that winning actually encouraged me to learn more about yoga,
Mm.
because before I thought every day going for my own health and having playtime with my same age group, kids. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that I said ladies club, so it's only ladies are allowed in that center.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling comfortable and feeling very good, but I never had idea that there are more to offer with yoga. So I was young, and I was more time for me was like doing studies and doing other things.
Yeah.
So when I did that, then I asked the teacher and they said, well, yeah, if you want to be trained more, we can give you more practice for more advanced poses, and you can see, we will take you for present demonstration, because India, that was a very popular thing, you know, any event, because we have so many festivities in India, and every time we had something event, there was always a yoga demonstration.
Hmm.
So, and I was trained to be demonstrator from very childhood, you know, very
All
young
right.
age. I mean, even before 11 years when I won that competition inter-school, before that I started doing a lot of demonstration. I
Yeah.
should
Now,
mention.
I wasn't clear. When did you start going to Ghosh College?
Okay, Ghosh College, from that's the time actually
Okay.
Vishwanath Ghosh, Vishuda, we call. He found me in one of my demonstration, you know, and he says, okay, because Kushala Das's brothers, P.S. Das, Dr. Das, started giving me some lessons, you know, like a more for performance and demonstration. Then Vishuda said, you must come and, you know, start practicing in
Mm-hmm.
my center and we are going to train you. So he started putting more time for me and giving me more advanced practice and putting me on the stage with a lot of other different activities. So it was those days in India is like if you are representing one center, you are not supposed to represent any other, you know, like you
Yeah.
are belongs to. But from the beginning, I feel now I think about it, you know, my childhood, and I was always wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And when I go back and I ask my lot of those days who taught me, because I had, you know, India, many teachers is not always the head teacher is going to help you. It's always there is junior teacher. And they always says anytime demonstration comes or my competition comes, it was, they used to get crazy how many times I used to show my performance. Like I wanted to be perfect, you know, just when I'm up there, I just confident enough. So it was just, I learned about myself.
Well, I've seen some of the older videos, and I know that I still have copies of them somewhere. I've got them in a box and I think in my storage in the basement right now. But some of those videos, like laying on a sword.
Yeah, that was Bishuda's
Right.
teaching me,
Yeah.
because that was Bishtu Ghosh Club special thing, you know, that they are the one who actually teaches all those, I won't say trick, but there is a process of going into the some kind of a, we call transcendent yoga, you know, where you
Yeah.
just withdraw your all your senses, the pain and sensation, and you just surrender yourself, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's a lot of breathing things, breathing
Yeah.
and confidence, also mental.
Well, and I remember being in at Ghosh College in India and Kolkata and walking around with, I call him Spear in the Eye Sam.
Yes, right.
And he
Yes.
would put the thing with the
Fear of
rebar
the
and the
eyes.
razor blade and like push against it
Yes.
against the wall and
Yes.
bend the
You
rebar.
know, yeah, you know, those days we were I think that club was the first one to introduce. And now you see a lot of things on many shows, but I never seen anything before like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I visited before even 11 years old, because a lot of time in Ghost's College used to hold some special events. So I remember from the ladies club, we all used to go and see some presentation. So you asked me about how did I do the All India Championship. So what they do, when I won the inter-school, has nothing to do with All India. What they do, then they train you. Then you go to the district competition, then you go to the state competition, and then you go to the India competition. So
Okay.
there is a level.
Yeah.
So the level is you have to go through. You just cannot just go and appear into the India
Right.
competition.
Right.
Only 1982, when Vishuda started first Vishnu Ghosh Cup in Kolkata, that was the master cup for kind of like you come from the ladies group, you come from the male group, and the end who won the Vishnu Ghosh Cup, they has to be champion between both gender together.
Yeah.
So male and female. So that was the only one you can go straight to India competition.
Now, during the, I think it's the All India Yoga Championships, where it's the Iyengar Cup or the Gold Iyengar Cup?
Yes, yes. Then later on they introduced Iyengar Cup also, but before was Vishnu Ghosh Cup. And I also, but the one I talked about, the India champion, other one, that was a national competition. We call that is national, because you have to go to the county, state, then the India. That's the national competition. And All India is All India. That was the Vishnu Ghosh Cup.
Yeah. In Iyengar, was he also one of the judges?
Not with me, but I know that his student always participated with me. And they were very strong, competitors.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yes.
Now, as you were going through all that, at what point did you really become a teacher and start teaching other people?
Yeah, well, what happened that during my very much like a second time when I won the competition, and then my teacher, Dr. Das and Kushala Das, both said, Yoga Training Institute in India first started that teachers training. Long time ago, I'm talking about, DLY Vidyapit. And they kind of like encouraged me to join the training program, teachers training. And they said, well, I think I was in my high school that time. And they said, you should go and start doing the teachers training. So the program was 3 months for certificate course, CYT, then diploma was for 1 year, then bachelor was for 2 years. So we used to, then I started doing that together, and I got a special permission that I can attain the bachelor course also. Because I was a little bit young, but I was keep doing good in the course at the end of the results. So they were saying, okay, we're ready. And the same time also I also did Vishnu Ghosh, because that was weekends. They used to have that classes in Ghosh's college.
Now when you started teaching then, was it all one-on-one, or were you teaching groups, or what was the?
I will be telling you, my father didn't let me teach that much. Before I got married very early. So you must know that I was still student there. So I learned more. My application happened more after I came to this country, more teaching. I used to teach part of a training program, with more demonstration I did, but if sometimes I used to do a special class or helping we always did one-to-one. It is not a group lesson. The studio setting lesson I never seen in India. Yes, it was always been one-to-one. So that's the way in ladies club even it was one-to-one. So we had to do refreshers clinic. We had to do one-to-one and learn how to do the chart.
All the one-on-one was Dr. Das or other people like writing a prescription.
Yes.
Or somebody based on a condition, and then they would refer them to like you or maybe another teacher.
They will be referred many teachers. It's not only me that time on. Also, there are like plenty of teachers getting graduate and they're practicing. There is a lot more. That's like that's the way it started. It cannot be only, but Dr. Das is the only one who makes the chart. But I was privileged that I could sit next to him and learn, because he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
He used to teach me how to write the chart too, So that I learned from him.
So somebody would come with a particular condition and they would write the chart. Do you remember anybody particular that stands out to you at that time that maybe came with a particular condition that started healing?
Yeah, well, see, two things here. With the Dr. Das was a very specialized with orthopedic. He was a very good with the spine and any kind of a, long time having arthritis or osteoporosis like that. India, mostly the women have a big problem with the arthritis on their knee or the osteoporosis, and they have a very, in Calcutta especially, some lifestyle, have seen that overweight is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a complaint for women, like, and they don't have enough time because the way the lifestyle, and we in India we eat like 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So if they prepare the meal and they serve the meal, they all eat together. It's kind of a just custom and tradition. So I remember that couple of times that women used to come and they're really, really heavy weight and not able to walk at all and complaining and really bad on the spine. And Dr. Das is able to look into the screen, like he had a x-ray to look at it, whole thing in his room. He has all set up system. So he
Mm-hmm.
used to look at it and pinpoint where is the problem and try to give the therapy, like one-to-one therapy. Instead, also he used to give like a shortwave ray and some water treatment, like a hot and cold pack, all these things, part of yoga therapy. That's the way he used to teach. So I remember that amazing improvement happened. So many people, I mean, I don't need to go too far. It happened to my mom.
Yeah.
Like my mother has a routine now and Dr. Das's chart,
Wow.
and she's following every day. I mean, she is better shape than when I was young.
Wow.
Like she has her every day morning, she walks several miles and then she comes home and she has very limited food, and then she starts with her yoga movement therapy, we call, like she does all those postures, like it's not asanas only, it's just the movement to give the um, neuromuscular system a little bit more flexibility, momentum, and improving
Mm-hmm.
circulation. And then she does the pranayama. So I ask her I mean, that's I don't have to go too far, I'm just saying. In the childhood, I remember the women how used to get benefited. At the same time, I also was privileged to learn our yoga training institution. The principal was a Dr. Rabindranath Banerjee.
Yeah.
He's no longer anymore, but I actually learned a lot of difficult things from him. I would say a lot of difficult things because I never learned meditation that I remember how it was. I never learned before the way he taught me the meditation,
Mm-hmm.
because he was a guided meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And when really in the meditation, when you start following someone's voice and really focusing all the centers, and then all of a sudden I remember my body was so light, my heart rate was getting so low, blood pressure getting so low, and he was there to pull me back again, that momentum.
Yeah.
That also, those kind of like and nowadays they still offer those like a dhoti kriya, Ayurveda, part of Ayurveda. A lot of people practice that dhoti kriya. Yeah, I don't think any other training offers that, but we had to learn that Basha Dhoti, Nasha Dhoti, all those stuff. Like
Yeah.
pure sutras, yoga sutras, how they offer. So that part I learned from him, because I have to finish getting my certificate and diploma degree from finishing up the Yoga Training Institute curriculum. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of other doctors. It used to take place in homeopathic college those days, because most of the medical doctor part of, you know, I would say integrative health. They used to come part of teaching us, because
Yeah.
implementation of medicine, homeopath was not, not was practiced for yoga therapy, was only practice yoga therapy. So you have to learn anatomy, physiology. After that, you learn, instead of, no medicine is not compound drugs, but not even any other homeopath. because homeopath also come from the nature, a lot of natural things,
Yeah.
but they used to talk about yoga poses, how that's effect. So it was just so much hands-on, and it was that time I remember a lot of difficult, like mainly people with blood pressure. A lot of people used to come blood pressure, heart issues, and psychological condition even.
Yeah.
That is interesting because it was not very common those days in India talk about mental problem,
Mm.
and especially women. I still tell you because I left India in 1984. So unless you are really sick, you don't go gynecologist, because it was
Yeah.
not very common, or you have to go because, oh, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So that was another big thing we learn in yoga therapy,
Yeah.
that women used to feel more comfortable when they used to come talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why today I more, um, like kind of like interested, or you can talk, let's say, more compassionate about women, because from my background and born and raised in India, foundation of, my main childhood was in India. I felt it that so many mothers, so many sisters, so many aunts, they could get a lot of general help if they were introduced, or they didn't feel shy or shame about discussing about their health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why always it's kind of a inspire me and motivate me to practice and study and keep going and helping.
Yeah. So you really dived in, and I don't know if you remember this, and I can't tell you exactly when this happened, but maybe 20 years ago. And I have read, and I was reading at that time, and probably even more so now, material around mind-body interaction and Dr. Sarno and TMS. And I came to you at one point, I said, what is this about TMS, tension myoneural syndrome? And what I heard back was that, well, that's all yoga, and that's all the mind body. And I really felt like it was like an aha moment, like here's some of that real science that shows this, and this is some of what we're doing in yoga
Yeah.
to help that
Yes.
internally. And
Yes.
said it was a big moment for me.
Yeah. Well, I really liked his book.
Yeah.
And I always tell people to read it, because a lot of time, like a medical mind or scientific mind, they come and they still don't believe in yoga.
Right.
Because, and those days, really, we didn't have that much yoga's clinical studies.
Yeah.
So what used to happen, people only used to feel the good, but they didn't know how they're feeling good.
Well, Michael Galinsky, which was the producer for the All the Rage movie, he started yoga recently in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where he lives. So, I mean, he did that movie about Sarno, and he hadn't done yoga, and he started doing yoga, and he sent me a note, said, this is the greatest thing.
You sent me to see his movie. Remember
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I met all of them because of you.
Yeah.
Not Bruno, but his.
There's another organization now. It's called the PPDA, which is the Psychophysiological Disorders Association, which is an association that happens to be over here in Portland. And it's a group of physicians, and their whole focus is on the mind-body interaction. And one of the doctors that was in the Sarno movie actually started that as a result of his own experience as a physician, and realizing that
Was he there?
no, he wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. But fascinating stuff. And I just look at that stuff, and I'm seeing more and more interconnection between the yoga and the science. And, people often say, well, yeah, but yoga can't really do that. And there's so much science and so much study out there now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can continuously, explore into like I remember that a lot of children used to come in ladies club, because ladies club was more like a social organization. You don't have to even pay if you don't have money. And Dr. Kushala Dash started that movement, and she was a very direct disciple. I think the last one is living right now. and she's really wonderful as a human being, that she gave her life devotion completely for helping women. So she
Yeah.
used to bring the women in India where is very low income, very, very low income group, and give them make them yoga teacher and
Yeah.
help them financial independence.
Yeah.
So what they used to do, learn yoga, which is a service, social service, and some of them I remember that they were not able to even um, pay, to learn, but they really learn, and they, because of they appreciated so much what they can offer and what they learn, and they were very, when their service teaching kids or anybody, any woman, was a very pure service,
Yeah.
like a very truthful, very genuine.
Yeah.
So that's the time I met so many ricket polio kids. And I
Mm-hmm.
have seen them, they were not able to walk, but after 6 months, they were able to walk.
Wow.
That, and I have seen the, it is really, I still remember one time my mom was saying that, I'm still in tear when I talk about it. The kid, they had all the prosperity in their family because of the wealthy family, but the kids were sick, couldn't polio, couldn't even walk, and
Mm.
that child started walking, and the
Wow.
joy of the mother, like the wow, is like getting the life back of that kid, because India, it's a big deal,
Well, and you know my story too, and I mean, like I said, I mean, that's the cane I used to walk with. And, I was supposed to be dead in 86, 87 as a result of my legs and my vascular disease. And I started doing yoga and slowly started getting better, no longer needed that cane, and went to you. And then eventually all the pain that I had went away. And it was just like, it blew me away because I thought I was going to live with
Right.
pain my whole life. I just had succumbed to that idea. But I was able to change that idea. And, that's something that we talked about recently too, a little bit, is like not just that physical aspect, but the yoga for life, and like all the challenges that we face in life, and, you know, how that is really affected, not
You
just
know,
the physical.
it's funny because it's really it's always there,
Mhm.
but you really understand to differentiate,
Mhm.
before that comes, that you don't want to go to that phase. You want to go, when you practice yoga, gives you such a concentration, focus, and confidence that immediately you move away from that direction. If anything, negative thoughts or negative energy or negative emotion, you start acknowledging more.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's why being a teacher, being a student, practice is the best way, because if you are out of practice, or if you, as a teacher, if you are out of practice or you are out of teaching, you will never connect with yourself that much, like you will be, it's a mind effect on the mind so much, because mind is governing everything in our life.
Yeah.
And the two things is playing a big role, ego and fear,
Yeah.
and that's kind of block your intelligence,
Yeah.
and that causes all emotional trauma in life, and then from there, nothing working fine, always you are in pain and fatigue.
Yeah.
So I feel like yoga is a lifestyle, that you have to really work for it. You really have to work on it. That's why I said that it's in human life. I mean, human life cannot be without sadness or unhappiness. Certain things we don't disagree, it will be sad and it will be unhappy.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you have to concentrate on unhappy and sad,
Yeah.
and you have to find something from there. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I feel in my life. Doesn't matter, every day it's a new day.
Yeah. You know, and I know through the personal challenges that I've had in life that when I practice yoga, it's not necessarily going in there and trying to do the best triangle. It's going in there trying to just, let that go, let go of the issues in my tissues, so to speak, and to be able to just feel good and have a clear mind, through the practice.
But Michael, that is very much yogi speaking, because of you practicing and you actually find the essence of yoga,
Mhm.
because so long your practice. But many people try yoga because of, like you and me, we are speaking. I'm sure a lot of who is listening, they get inspired and they try to practice yoga. But whenever we do something new, we always have a purpose, but the problem is when we focus on that intention, and then if we're not finding in a couple of seconds or couple of days, then we give up.
Yeah,
So for finding yourself, that it is not for the posture, it's for myself, I'm doing, how am I feeling and how I feel after.
hmm,
It's very hard for beginners to experience that, and that's we should be mostly focusing on when the new student try yoga. Don't compare if you are doing some other sports, and don't compare with that sports with now what you're doing in yoga. And if you are not feeling that flexible, that strong, or that demonstrating that strength what you do in other activities you do, it's nothing wrong.
yeah,
Nothing wrong.
yeah,
Yoga you are doing for yourself. Yoga, you keep just trying and trying and trying, nothing else. Every day you do, you find yourself a different way. I mean, right now, everyone asked me, why are you not still competing? Because of doing this World Cup and everything. But I never took I never really participated anymore World Cup. And I don't think I'm in even that level of practice right now.
yeah.
But I don't have any shyness to say that,
Hmm.
because my experience from competition was different. My experience from the competition was today. That's why I'm keep doing yoga.
Yeah,
If I did not, that moment I was such a competitive and I needed something to thrive me, and that was the competition. And that helped me thrive me, motivate me to learn about yoga therapy, everything what we're doing right now. And that made me today who, like what I do, and how I every day deal with my life, because every day my life is challenging.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like that yoga therapy. I mean, you do so much for other people and spreading the word of yoga and all of that. And that's part of yoga, part of that
Yes.
union and part of that
Union.
sharing. And it's also like, what do you do for yourself? I mean, or do you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and
I
meditate
know,
and do yoga? How do you
I
deal?
really do. And that's a really sad part. I don't know when I become a Dinacharya practitioners that I wake up such early in the morning. I think I used to do 4, now I became a 2. I do wake up, and that was the time for me, meditation and writing.
Hmm.
And then I like to go to walk, and then I do my home routine of my yoga right now. And I see that routine is making me feel good. I don't stay up very late because like to, by 10 o'clock, I'm really tired.
Yeah,
But so for me, that time is my time that I want to be listening music and fall asleep.
sure.
Yes, I got to do something for myself. If I don't do it, I don't feel I'm, like together. I
Yeah.
don't feel myself
Yeah.
that I'm together.
Yeah. I mean, I do a little meditation and yoga when I get up in the morning as well. And it's become part of me. It's not necessarily very long, but it's where it is right now. It really like starts my day,
Mm, mm.
very well. It's like I got to have a bowl of cereal, but before I have my bowl of cereal,
You have to
I
have
have to do this other thing. But it's just as important as that bowl of cereal.
Yeah, I like to have my incense, like I like aroma. So I
Yeah.
have my nice incense burning, and then I just love to do that.
Yeah.
And it makes me,
Now, I know too that right now, and I don't know very much about it, but you're really starting this new yoga therapy program, and helping teachers work more one-on-one with people. Did I say that right?
You are doing, you actually said right. What I was trying to explain other day last weekend, that what I felt it, time I moved in this country, I got more close to it 26 and 2 practice.
Mm-hmm.
So the 26 and 2 practice is more into the studio setup, heated room. And everyone comes, you know, like those days when I first came was not so many studios, you know, was a lot of elite community people used to come only, but not for average household people known to name of Hatha yoga or yoga at all. You know, it was a strange name and scary name for yoga.
Yeah.
You talk about yoga. And that's the time TMS was, you know, TM was very popular. The transcendental meditation was very popular. And slowly took long time, 10 years. Then when we had training and then more teachers and started going back to their respected state and started opening the studios. What I felt it that 26 and 2 is a great practice. It's continuously, you know, like a, demands for everybody's lifestyle, you know, and everybody gets lots out of it, you know, like it's never enough. People feels it's kind of like addictive practice. But at the same time, what I feel like I want teachers to experience more about. A lot of teachers are practicing themselves, studying, going many institution because it's widely, you know, right now it's available for learning yoga therapy, but specifically for the system, I feel like that we need to learn more where to be, focus on how to help, you know, what we are doing. I mean, there are a lot of research going on, but is there a technique? Was we are teaching, but I think there is need to be more focus. So there are more people we feel like we can help, because my whole goal is yoga for every community, you know, every institution, you know, like it's not for the people who feels like, okay, I'm fit, so I will do this practice. No, you know, you can take this practice wherever you are. And today it may not be the same, but today you do it your way. So a lot of people are still scared of this practice because of they are not feeling, okay, maybe I'm not be able to, I'll feel shy. You know, it's there always inside that kind of way. We deal with it going into something unknown, you know, and feel like, oh my God, it's going to be a torture. And there is no torture. Nobody's really trying to torture. We are trying to put ourselves in, and you allow, you know, like every practice they say, you push yourself a little bit more every day, or if you feel, you know, it's okay, stay there and keep being there. So that differences, you know, I wanted to help. And there are, I find, who cannot go in the class. There are some cases that they cannot. How to teach them separately, just like the way I learned in India. So I wanted to kind of develop that more. But yes, there are going to be a little bit addition of many other things in there, because it has to be, because I'm going to bring it what I learned in India.
So are you going to be actually offering a specific teacher training and certification?
I haven't thought of that much yet, but you know, slowly things might develop. Right now, I am thinking of myself helping others, at least providing my service for that. That's all I am trying to do right now. I haven't thought of other things yet, because that's too far to think. I mean, we have so many teachers training is in the world going on. It's a lot.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So
they're every block in this town.
Yeah, I feel like more we just practice and more we just learn. At least we need to start offering this, you know. Yeah. That's what I was trying to talk about it.
Yeah. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that you feel is important to say or to talk about as far as yoga, or anything else that You feel like it's
Well,
important?
I feel, you know, like how is yoga class? You feel like when you come or you walk in and you feel like, do you belong there? You know, like, are you belongs to this class? Um, you just have to make yourself fit into it. You know, a lot of time it's a very hard process.
Yeah.
I mean, I always, I've been thinking of, and I'm writing a lot of my memoir, and I'm finding out myself when I first moved to this country. And I remember it was a very strange experience for me because I was so excited, but at the same time, when I walked in here, I just felt it. I don't belong here, you know,
Mhm.
because it's so new, such a big cultural shock for me, you know, and it was more like these people, you know, human being is human being, you know, but I kind of felt it that everybody's looking at me like if I'm from some strange place, and everywhere I've been examined with their X-ray eyes and finding out, you know, kind of like it was put me in such a big examination, and you just feel like you got to kind of like pass this, you know. It's like I have to pass. It was not easy for me.
Mhm.
So I feel like every day class is like that.
Yeah. Mm.
You know, I always connect that feeling, and I want everybody to feel that, you know. If I feel like always I say, if I can do it, you can do it, you know. If you
Yeah.
can do it, I will try, you know, I'll try to do it, you know, something. So it's a really challenge in our mind, how we feel ourselves and where we are and how we are, you know, like it's a pressure we create around society, you know, societal pressure. And societal pressure is nobody really hurt me that time. Nobody really touched me that time. Actually, everybody gave me a nice hug and warm welcome. But it was my mind, I was feeling that. In my mind, I was feeling like, I don't think they like me, you
Mm.
know, and I had very poor English that time, and I was not able to understand American, any accent at all. So I feel like I was being criticized everywhere, you know, and I just did not feel confident enough, you know, myself. So I feel like everyday class is like that.
Yeah.
So you feel like walking in before, you feel like, doesn't matter what practice you do,
Yeah.
it's the state of mind.
Yeah.
So for a new practitioners, I always try to connect, you know, it's a state of mind that you need to be clear and no expectation there. Because when we start moving ourselves, if we start going back and forth, then we really don't help, don't let ourselves progress in our life, you know. So progress comes when we keep trying, you know, put effort,
Yeah.
and without expectation that effort comes with honest trying.
Yeah. And I know it as a teacher, you know, I try to keep a beginner's mind as much as possible. And
Very
like,
nice way.
not only for
That's
my own
nice.
practice, pardon me?
I said it's such a nice way you said beginner's mind.
Yeah.
Some people will say, I'm not a beginner. I have done so many years. So I mean, I am still beginners, believe me. Any practice I go, I'm still beginner. I was trying some place other day, the Joy's yoga, you know, like Ashtanga style.
Uh-huh.
I never do every day, you know, Ashtanga yoga. I came out being very sore that day. And
Yeah.
even I remember that uprising incarcerated youth, that program you just mentioned that I'm involved.
Uh-huh.
Whenever I go now, I let other teachers teach because I love to practice with inmates. I love to be with them, you know, with those kids that
Yeah.
I participate with them.
Yeah.
And it's funny that restorative yoga, we do really relaxation, not that much, you know, like not that much practice that we put on for their body, you know, like we more relaxing, restorative, more breathing, more life coach. I came out also very sore.
Mm.
So, you know, what you don't try, you will find something different.
Yeah.
Different is not something that you have to give a name or give an opinion or give a judgment.
Yeah.
So I never put anybody in that judgmental or made a comment about it. So I will always encourage people, before you putting a judgment or judge others, you don't know what that can offer, what they can go through.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, getting more philosophical. That's kind of, I think it's kind of my life right now. People giving judgment all the time, and they really don't know what I'm going through, what my kids are going through, and be kind, practice kindness.
Yeah.
If I'm kind to you, be kind to your body, kind to your spirit, kind to your mind, kind to your heart, you will see world comes together.
Yeah. I think that's so important. And it's like, you see the bumper stickers that say practice kindness, but it's actually really important to do that.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
And, in the practice, I feel myself that when I practice, it reminds me. When I teach, reminds me. So it's kind of affirmation for me.
Yeah.
And it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're already getting really close to the end of our time, and I know that we could talk for hours, and it would be great to have you back at some point to talk some more about yoga and perhaps diving deeper into it. One of the questions that I have, and we touched a little bit on the new student, but do you have any thoughts or tips or ideas? Maybe a couple, 2, 3 ideas that
I think last couple of things I've been saying things is for the new students, really, basically. Be kind to yourself when you go in the class. Don't be judgmental. And don't feel that you don't belong there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything yoga means union, and union, to make things union, you really need to have those 3 things.
Yeah. I know one of the comments that I will often make, beginning a class or during class, and this is true whether for a new student or an ongoing student, is, do what you can according to your ability at any given moment, any given day.
100%.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, and I also say, as it comes because I've been teacher, so. And from my childhood, I learned 3 words from my school, and they're called Shraddha, respect, tapasya, practice with dedication, and with it's really it's a tapasya completely, and then Sheba is a service. So when you're doing this for yourself, still don't keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes open. You never know where you can help others.
Yeah. And that's so important. And the thing too about helping the kids in India, and I remember being there and seeing so many street kids, in India and Kolkata particularly, for some reason I saw it more there.
You have seen because you visited there, but my cousin owned the schools called Parikrama, and it's more from the slum kids, and what she established, she's educator, so what she established is amazing. And I think you have seen that on my bio, because I keep going back in Bangalore and I visit her. She has 6 schools now, and those kids are really, they didn't have any house, they didn't have a home, and she rescued them from the street, and then she rescued their parents also, or whoever their guardian. She educated them night school, the adult, and make them a teacher, part of the teacher's aid, and run the system with a really missionary style. It's really a wonderful service what she is doing. You can see everywhere. I don't think it's only you need to go to India. Definitely it's a third world country, a lot of poverty there. But I find big thing going on in Los Angeles County right now about the homeless shelter.
Yeah.
And the house, it's a big thing right now. Everywhere you can see that how to give them a shelter.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to educate them. I think that is what my sister is doing, educating them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even you have a home, you give them a shelter, they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You want them to make them work, you know, because a lot of time we want to get money from whatever way, but we don't want to work for the money, you know, we don't want to work.
Yeah.
And that's what the education does. So that's what she's doing. She's really teaching. So education is very important.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And yeah, that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole right now.
All right.
Then maybe that's for another call. On all of this, depending upon where you're listening, you may be listening on Apple or Stitcher or iHeart, one of the audio platforms, or you may be listening on YouTube or the website. And if you're listening on any of those platforms, you can always go to fallingupradio.com and you'll find this episode here with Rajashree. And at the bottom of the episode, there will be a list of ways, best ways to contact Rajashree. There'll be a little bit more information about the show. And there'll be a number of pictures there as well of Rajashree and her life and helping other people as well. But Rajashree, where's the best place that somebody could go to find you?
Rajashree at rajashree.com.
Can you spell Rajashree? Most people may not know how to do that.
Sorry, I gave you my email address at rajashree@rajashree.com, but www.rajashree.com. That's where you can find me. RAJASHREE, Rajashree.
Right. Yeah.
Rajashree.
And you also have you're on like Facebook and
I'm
Twitter.
on my I'm on Facebook. I have my public page too, where I post all my workshops.
Yeah.
And then Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
everywhere. And I make sure that I connect with the people when they write. So it doesn't matter where do you live, you know, what part of the world you live.
Sure.
If I am not flying, if I'm I'm in the city that I can have a resource of the internet, then I will definitely answer.
Yeah. Well, you're really you're really teaching the world yoga.
I think world also teaching me yoga.
Yeah.
I think world is teaching me what is yoga means for how to live yogic life, or how to practice true yoga, that union and selfless service.
Yeah.
It's a we definitely all need money to live, but sometimes we also need to give something to others.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I think very important for all of us. We always work, but sometimes once a week at least, we try something to give.
Yeah.
Or every day, if you can practice that, something to give.
Every day.
Yeah.
So, Rajashree, it's been wonderful to have you
Thank
here.
you.
Extremely grateful.
Thank you.
Over the years and now the decades, I've learned so much from you. But it's like every time we talk, I learn something new.
Oh, it took me to my childhood, Michael. That was so nice.
Yeah.
Because we have to always accept our childhood, right? In our life.
Yeah. So thank you. Again, this has been Rajashree Choudhury chatting with us, having a conversation about yoga and life on Falling Up Radio. Be sure to share this episode with your friends, and remember to go to her website, rajashree.com, and learn a little bit more. So thank you, Rajashree. Again, hold on for the other side.
Thank you. Profound my love to all of you.
Yeah. Thank you.